the last 3 years, I've been having a survival summer camp, and I've been learning how to survive. So, some of the things that we've been doing, the first time I went, I did one called the Secrets of the Ancient Scout. And in that one, we learned mostly how to camo, how to be quiet, and how to sneak up on different things. And that's mostly what we did. And it was really fun. We learned how to camo by getting dry dirt on our faces and all our body and clothes to make us like more brown. And there's oil on our hands and faces, and it's kind of shiny. So you want to get rid of that. So you just like splash dirt all over your face and all in your hair and everywhere. And then you can get charcoal, and you put charcoal lines on your face and hands. So then, like, let's say you can put like straight lines, but like never like make circles around your eyes, because you're trying to get rid of your features. Like, someone might see you because it looks like a face, but if it doesn't look like a face, then maybe they'll just think, oh, well, that might be just be like a stump or something. And then after, we put mud on for the texture. And then if you really want to get even more texture, you can put a big lump of mud on and put like a stick or twig in there, just to make it kind of funny and to have more camo. And some of the games that we were playing, we played Candy Gully, where they put candy all around a little grouping space where there were lights, and we were playing this at like 9:30, so it was dark out. And what you had to do, you had to sneak up, and you had to sneak up and take the candy. And if you took the candy, then you got to bring it back to your base and you got to eat it. Like, you had to share it after. But if they saw you, then they got to throw water balloons at you. And it's like dark out, so if you got hit, you'd be soaking wet for the rest of the night. And it would just be horrible. So you definitely didn't want to get hit. And the second camp, it was just a survival camp pretty much. You stayed out for 3 days, made a shelter, no tent, no sleeping bag, just pine boughs. You got a knife, you got to bring like a tiny little bit of jerky, and they gave you like a few pieces of jerky and maybe like a piece of bread or something if you're lucky. And that's pretty much all you got all day. And for the whole day, you'd just be collecting berries, eating ants, and getting more pine boughs to build your shelter. But the third camp was probably my favorite because we did zombie apocalypse. So we were one camp, and we had to we had to hike 16 hours with a 50-pound backpack through heavy forest, and like no trails, like just like straight forest. And once we got to where we were going, then we had to find a place where we could build our shelters, with still no tent or sleeping bag or anything like that. And then once we got there were 6 other camps that came, and it was so unfair because they got to ride in a car, and then yeah, it just wasn't nice for a little bit because it was like so unfair. And then after, once they came, if they saw us, then we had to work for half an hour. And if they found us, we had to move, obviously, because they might come back and get us again. So we never got caught in the same place that we went. One time we tried to go farther out. And then like we marked it with a sweater because we thought we were going somewhere. No, we went down to get our cure. We found an elk skull, and we got a whole bunch of essential herbs, and put them in the skull, and that was our cure. So if we went into the zombie base, put it in the base, and then got out without them seeing us, and they came back and it was there, then they were cured and they're on our team. But if they saw us go in, then they get to take our cure, and we all have to work for 30 minutes. So not very good. But when we went farther out, so that they couldn't find us, we marked it with a sweater because we went down to get the cure, And then we came back up and we started building our shelters. And then they came up and they chased us all the way down. And after they got all of us, and then we didn't know how they found us. We're like, how did you find us? And like, well, we saw that pink neon sweater at the top of the hill. And then we were like, oh, we forgot to take that down. No. And then it was just so sad. Everyone was just working and it was just, yeah. But our leaders were like rivals because they're like the best survivors there. Our leader was Patrick, and they're the leaders of the other summer camp was Patrick, and they like do treks together, like really hardcore treks with like no food, nothing. They don't even have a backpack. They just have a hoodie and some long pants, and that's all they have. So, like, maybe a knife or, like, a first aid kit. But, yeah, so that's mostly what we did at camp.